The day 2 of the Lead Code August challenge, and here we go. Let's see what's today's question. Today's question is week 2, week 1, sorry, design hashtag. So let's go through the question together and let's talk about the various ways we can solve this question. Design a hash set without using any inbuilt table libraries. To be specific, your design should include these functions: add, contains, and remove. So it inserts a value, it checks whether a typical hash set that we have in Java. Remove a value from the hash set. If value doesn't appear, do nothing. Now let's go through the example that they have stated. So you declare a new hash set, you add two values to it, checks for contains 1 and contains 3, add 2 again, check for contains 2, remove contains 2, and check for 2 again. This looks like a pretty simple problem, must be lead code easy. Also, it is very important to go through the notes here. All the values should be in this range and the number of operations will be in this range. Please do not use any built-in hashtag library. So these notes give you some hint or the direction your solution should be in. Since the first one is very important, all values will be in this range. So it gives me the idea that the number of possible values that will be present in my hash set would be within this range. So since the first solution that I think of, it could be a data extensive solution wherein I define an array, Boolean array of size up to this value. So what I'm trying to say is you declare a Boolean array of maximum size of 1 million, and whenever you want to add elements in that array with respect to a particular key, you just toggle the value from false to true, and whenever you want to remove that value, you just update the value to false. In this way, you will develop a data extensive solution wherein you will be using uh, an array of size of 1 million, and you will be setting the value to be true if that value is present in the hash set, and if the value is not present, the default value is false. So let's try this approach out and see how it goes. So let's code. So I'll define a Boolean array named set, and it would be null by default. And whenever a new object is getting constructed, I'll update the I'll initialize the object 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'll add one for an extra, since it's 0 to 1 million, an extra one here. Don't forget that, it's important. And if you want to add the value, then what you can do is you can update the value to be true, and if you want to remove, set the value to be false. And also, this operation is idempotent. If you are redoing the same operation again, redoing the same addition again, it won't have any impact on the set. It won't have any impact on the set. So it is idempotent. And then you check for contains. So contains would be simple, set of key, simple. So let's try and run this out. True, false, null, true, null, false. So it matches. Let me just try and submit this code. Oh, great. So we are done with the first solution here, where the solution, as I told before, is data extensive. Now let's try to think of the solution which is inbuilt in Java by default. So how Java must not be having this kind of an implementation where it will be consuming a huge memory and most of the memory will be empty for the cases where the values are not filled. So how does Java does the optimization on this? So I'll be talking about this as a second solution to my problem. Another solution which is not that data expensive, wherein you would define your hash set as a 2D matrix, and you using the key you generate a hash of the key, which is nothing but the index in your 2D matrix, the first index in the 2D matrix, which is the row identity, where you'll be storing the keys in your 2D matrix. So I'll walk you through the example, my thought process, and then we can code it out. For example, the initial key is 4, and you have my hash set is something like this. Hash is 4, then 10, then 15, then 17. So you define a 2D matrix, and therein you will be, so the code logic is something like this. So the first key comes, and you generate a hash, and suppose the hash of this function is 1, this is 2, this is again 1, and this is 3. So this is something like this, where fourth is my key and I1 is my hash. Whatever is in the bracket is my hash of that key. So in a matrix, it's something that is related to the adjacency list that we create in graphs. So at the 0th, so now comes the first key, which is 4, and you generated the hash of it, which is 1, and at the first index in your 2D matrix you added 4, and then comes 10. In the second index you added 10, and then comes 16, which also lies in the similar which also has a similar hash, and you appended 16 at the end. So in this way you start forming a linear chain of the numbers yet to come, wherever there is a collision or the hash of the two numbers, the two keys turns out to be the same, and 17 would be somewhere here. So sorry. So this is what the design of the hash would look like, and whenever you want to remove it, you simply remove it. So these are like hash indexes. The first one is hash, and these are the keys 416 starting from the first position. So it's a 2D matrix wherein you are using the hash of a key as your row number, and then adding the values in the hash map wherever you see this. Follow similar process, but also while removing from the hash set whatever key you have, you will check, you generate the hash of that key, and then check in the list whether that key is present or not. If the key is present, you simply remove that index from your list, and if it is not present, then it's already removed. So this way this works. Similarly works for contains. You generate a hash of the key, and then you start searching in your you go to that index, the row number, and you start searching in that row whether that key is present or not. If the key is present, then it's good, you return true, and if it does not, you return false. So let's try and code this out. So we'll define an initial capacity of our hash set, which will be somewhere equal to 0 first, and then we will be defining a private 2D list integer set. I'll call it as set, and which is also null. So in the declaration, in the initialization part, I'll initialize this value to suppose 1500, and then you define the set to new list of capacity, and then it's a key. So before adding a key, you need to have a private method which you will use to generate the hash, integer get key hash, and you pass in the key there, and you will return key modulus capacity. Sounds good. Now do the addition part. Let's do the addition part. And the addition says integer index, which will be the index in the which will generate the hash. Let's call it hash index get key hash, and then let's check if set of hash index is equal to null. Then let's initialize this to a new linked list. And now let's check if hash index dot index of, it will check whether it is already present in the list or not. If is equal to -1, then you don't, if is equal to -1, if it is not present, then you add it in the hash in your 2D matrix. Dot add, you simply add the key. Sounds good. Again, a similar way, hash index get key hash, key, generating the key, if set of hash index is equal to null, it's null, or set of hash index dot index of key is equal to -1, it is not present, simply return. It is not there, so we'll return. And then what we can do is, since we know now it is present, we just remove it from our hash 2D matrix, index of key. So we remove that, removing the key from the set. I think this would be exactly same as this. Get hash, if it is null, then return false, else return true. So let's try and see if it works. And then now let's submit it. Oh, it got accepted. Slight improvement that we can do here is, you should ideally check first before removing it if contains of key is true, then you do this. So we utilized one of our method inside, and it gave me an error, hash index. Oops, I still need it. Sorry, hash index get key hash of key. I got overwhelmed. Now it should work. So this approach also got accepted, and let's talk about the pros and cons of the first approach versus the second approach. The first approach was memory extensive, while this approach is time extensive whenever there is collision. So you have to, as I told before, whenever there is collision or the index of the hash of the two multiple keys matches, you have to iterate through the complete list and check whether the key is present or not. Hence, the worst case complexity of this approach is time complexity of this approach is order of n, while our previous approach had a time complexity of order of 1, whereas the space complexity was pretty high. So it's a trade-off kind of a thing wherein you are optimizing on space and compromising with time in the second approach, while it's the opposite in the first one, where you're not ready to compromise on time and you compromised on space. So this trade-off, at times you need to tell the interviewers that you know this information, and it's always helpful to share your thoughts with them. I hope tried making sense today, and hope you liked the video. If you liked it, please share it and like it, and tell your friends about it. Thanks for watching it.